Attention carriers, brokers, and dispatchers. You're tuned into the E-Carrier Check channel, where we bring you the insider tips, tricks, and insights to drive your sales and logistics business to new heights. Each week, your hosts, Jared and Nate, sit down with the top professionals in the industry, diving deep into everything from prospecting and cold calling to maintaining carrier relationships and maximizing your bottom line. Learn real-world strategies, hear success stories, and get actionable advice you can implement in your business today. So buckle up and get ready for an entertaining and informative ride. This is the E-Carrier Check channel, your source for can't-miss logistics intelligence. Stay tuned.
Hello, good morning, happy Wednesday, happy hump day. Nate and Jared here, we're back.
Yeah.
I'm excited to talk about some email stuff today. For those of you that don't know, we actually get a weird amount of emails and cold calls sent to us just to kind of look over. We're not perfect, but we can at least give you our 2 cents.
Yeah.
And you can take it and run with it. But so anyways, I'm excited to talk about emails today, Jared, and some follow-ups. And for those of you who haven't connected with Matt Easton, go do this right now before you kind of tune back in here. He posts some he's been bringing the fire. Let me just put it that way.
Yeah,
with everything sales, man, he gives me just so much insights, tips, and things I can help other people with. So go connect with Matt Easton. What's up, RJ? What's up, Shimmy? What's up, Pedro? Appreciate you guys. It's hump day, yeah, for sure. Let's go.
Yeah, you know what it actually is today? It's the Lunar New Year.
Oh, really?
So today's the start of Chinese New Year.
Hell yeah.
Which is wild. Like it's the year of the snake. Just so you know. I don't know if you knew this or not. It's the year of the snake. I love this. I'm a dog. Do you know what your Chinese zodiac is?
I wish I was a dog.
What year were you born in?
93.
93. Chinese.
I bet I'm a freaking rooster or something. I don't know.
Oh, I think you are a rooster, actually.
Am I a rooster?
Zodiac. Hold on. Let's see.
Wish I was a dog.
What year was it?
93.
93. You are a rooster, brother.
I'm a rooster.
Yeah. Which is incredible. You know what I mean? Like, you're aggressive and picky.
That
is
the truth.
That's what it says.
That
you're
is the
aggressive
truth.
And picky.
And that is the hot. Oh my god, that's on point.
It is Chinese New Year, so go out and celebrate. I'm friggin' jacked to get some friggin' Chinese food today, actually. So,
hell yeah, man, that sounds good.
I'm jacked. You know what I love though? Back to work here. Besides Chinese New Year, is this is my best transition ever. I think now more than ever, you have to be wildly creative and get their attention in seconds. Right now. Doesn't matter if it's an email, it's a voicemail, whatever it is. The 90s. Oh
the 90s?
I know. He's wonderful. I promise you. He's an old saint. He's an old soul. So good. I know. I'm a very early 80s baby, and you can tell I don't get a haircut.
I get it, man. I get it. Sorry, back. What were you saying?
No. It's so good. It's so good.
Sounding different, right?
Sounding different. Yeah. So I think something that's really important is you may get some ideas from ChatGPT, but don't use that.
Yeah.
It sounds too robotic.
Yeah.
Humans still want to talk to humans. I've seen some incredibly creative emails just this last week, and they both have worked. And I want to talk about some of those if you don't mind. I know you've got some bullet points to talk through.
Let's do it.
But I want to give like, besides us just writing the emails today, I want to give you some ideas on how to be different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The first one I thought was really interesting. The guy made a cold call, okay? And in the cold call, when he did talk to the shipping manager, he said, "Hey, I'm going to send a follow-up email, and here's what I'm going to send, okay?" And he ended up saying something about nights and weekends on this email, okay? And so in the subject line, it was nights and weekends. And what I thought was wildly interesting for a follow-up was his timing. And I think that something that's interesting is Nate has this on his bullet point. It's one of his bullet points. But I think when you're sending emails, he actually sent his first follow-up at like 2 in the morning on like a Wednesday. And the subject line was nights and weekends. And this is the first thing that this cat's reading. Guess what? He got an email back.
Yeah.
And so I think you don't have to, that's just one example. You don't have to do that every time.
Right.
But that's what this guy does. He specializes in nights and weekends work. He does a lot of like retail like setup stuff, kind of weird like showcases and things. He does some weird stuff. But he's always up at midnight or 2 in the morning, making sure his drivers are good, doing all his check calls and stuff. But his follow up is on point of being different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think honestly, I'm one of them. I think we overthink too much what we're going to put in the subject line.
Yeah.
You know, don't overthink it. Find something that's, I mean, yourself, if you see an email that kind of looks like, not worth my time, you're swiping and deleting it, right?
Yeah.
So you got to try to put yourself in their shoes on who you're sending it to.
Yep.
And what's going to catch their eye. Heck, I had a broker look up his college that he went to, and he said, okay, I want to see every shipping manager that went to Shadron. Great idea.
Yeah.
Starts connecting with them, says, hey, and I think they were the Eagles, right? The Eagles, you know, he mentioned something about the mascot. The guy opened it up and said, hey, I also went to Shadron. The broker knew that. And they're working together.
Yeah.
You know, they talk. You know, it's just about being different. Don't overthink it. I don't know. Give me some more insight, those subject lines. Are we keeping them short? What should we do? You know, what's the too extreme, I guess?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a couple things first is
Morning, Chief Ray Holler.
what's going on, guys. It's good to see you. I'm glad you're on. I hope you guys are having a wonderful January. It looks like at least the weather has been decent this week.
Yeah.
Half the country's not shut down or under snow. Or
Right.
when Florida's getting snow, we've got issues. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I would be interested of what you guys are using for subject lines when you're hooking. Throw them in the comments and just put them in there. Obviously, we're trying to grow as a community, grow each other.
Right.
So anything that you guys have for insights, we're not perfect. We're just telling you what we keep hearing works, right?
Right.
So one other, you asked subject lines. We're talking subject lines.
Yeah.
I think the subject line needs to be connected with a cold call, personally.
So you like that phone call first?
I do.
And then we do a follow-up email.
I do.
Yeah,
And
I agree.
you know, the other thing that I think is important is if you haven't been able to catch him, let me tell you another guy that I think is really interesting. This guy only hooks C-levels. Okay, when I say hooks, by the way, it's emails. I call them hooks. You know, brokers make rips, the margin. I call hooks emails. So take that for what it is. Maybe it's because I like fishing.
You do the fishing.
Maybe not. I don't know. So anyway, so this guy only hooks C-level employees.
Okay.
Or that at that level. Okay. And if you think about, like, when you guys are sending out emails, how often are you sending it at an executive level? Are you at a director level, VP level, or C level? This guy never is able to catch him on on a phone call because he's got people that screen his calls, right? And so he has to send subject lines that are very witty and almost informative within 3 words, 4 words, maybe 5. Okay, and I'll give you an example of what he sent the other day. And he shared it with me the other day, and I ended up getting a meeting with the CEO.
Nice.
And the subject line was, "I talked to 6 of your employees, 2 of them at a director level."
That was the subject line?
That was the subject line.
Okay.
I talked to 6 of your employees, 2 at the director level. That was the subject line. And his email said this, and it was fairly short. And he said, "Hey, I've talked to these branches, and I've talked to these directors about how your company handles logistics. I also have talked to 2 industry experts, specifically in your industry, and I would be interested to understand where am I missing in the gaps to understand what your 2025 values are specific to the P&L and how that's relating to your, would you have 10 minutes?
Yeah. Yes.
Right? So he added value that he's already sort of done some work internally, right? He also knows the industry. He knows the industry experts. And now he's trying to understand how is the supply chain actually coming in line here. And so literally if you get this as a CEO, and this is a big company, by the way, huge friggin' company, He got 10 minutes to CEO.
Yeah.
Now I don't know when that meeting is. I think it's next week.
Okay.
I'll keep you posted.
Yeah.
But I just got this email the other day, and I was like, "Holy cow! What a great friggin'
Yeah.
example!"
And that's a
how to be different,
Yeah.
of how to do some homework, and how to add value.
right. And that's a really good example that maybe I'm not always right either. You know, I always tell email subject. We were trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty. Sunny and 68 here. What's up, T Landy? But it's a good example that maybe my idea wouldn't work for him because I'm always like, hey, let's keep the subject line short.
Yeah, keep it short.
catchy. His was a little bit longer from what you said, but hey, it worked.
It caught the CEO's attention.
Right, and that's what it's all about. And I think what maybe we overlooked here, you had a call to action. Can I get 10 minutes?
Yeah.
A lot of people miss that action.
Yeah. This is wildly important. If you're not asking for time, an agenda, somebody to talk to, there's got to be multiple calls to action.
So let's say I send an email. I say, hey, can I get 10 minutes every time Tuesday? Let's say they send an email back, but they kind of overlook that question. Should I just keep hammering, saying, hey, let's get on that call? You know what I mean? I don't want to be too aggressive, but
I would personally.
Okay.
We've been all ghosted, right? We've all been kind
too many
of,
times.
hey, send me an email, or hey, thanks for the conversation, and we've all been sort of ghosted. People are busy.
Send me
right?
your info.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's really important if they overlook a part of your email, I would just reconfirm it, but give him options or her options. Okay, and what I mean by that is, hey, in the previous email, I asked for 10 minutes. I do have some time this Wednesday that just opened up in my schedule. Wednesday, would that be a good time?
Yes, I love that.
Wednesday at X time, right?
Yeah.
And try to lock him in. And he can look at his calendar and go, yeah, I can give him 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, right? So that's really important with that follow-up in that regard.
I love that. Yeah, you definitely have to make sure you throw that action item in there and just keep going about it and come about it a different way. Just get creative on how you're asking for that time. I like that. I've met with a lot of brokers that are strictly kind of emails. I do encourage them to try to pick up the phone, but I think if you're starting with email first and you're not getting responses, then I think it's time to pick up the phone and just kind of have that call. Whether if it's a voicemail. Matt Easton just dropped a killer video on leaving voicemails, and it was very personalized to who he was calling.
Yeah.
So go check out that video. I thought it was a great example.
I do think if you are sending emails first over a phone call first, or you're just not getting anywhere, nobody's picking up the phone. We've all had both scenarios happen to us. I would definitely try to add some value either in your industry or in their industry, and where that merges as quick as possible.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, so like maybe give them some like articles on their industry or a case study or something maybe that happened with their company. Maybe they had an achievement or something.
Yeah. There's always an industry, absolutely. Exactly. There's always an industry expert in everything. In fact, I watched this guy. You got to forgive me here. I'm going to kind of talk through gardening for just a second. But I watch a gardening expert specifically on growing pumpkins. I've got an adult goal. I want to grow a 500-pound pumpkin, right? And so I watch this cat all the time. In fact, I bought a couple seeds from him 2 years ago. We had a late freeze. It screwed up my pumpkins. That was kind of a mess. Yep. By the way, you buy pumpkin seeds like horses. It's based on like the male and the female and the weights of those pumpkins. Okay. The wildest thing ever. If you guys want to get into it, let me know. We can do a call. But where was I going with this?
Gardening.
Yeah. Okay, industry experts.
Yes.
Good God, Lord, the coffee's not. It's hitting hard. So anyway, when there's an industry expert and you're the industry expert, why not cross those paths in a quick email? Say, hey, I was watching this guy in your industry. He's saying that you're going to see a 12% growth this year. In our industry, we're going to see a 12% rate increase. What are you going to do to combat those two things to make sure that you still meet your budget in 2025?
That's a high value email right there.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think finding a way to cross those paths, and if you can't, this is when like ChatGPT or DeepSeek or any of those come into play. If you can't figure out what to say, use it for creativity. Yeah. But keep telling it to be shorter, and be shorter, and be shorter, and because you can't just copy and paste, or you can't. It really needs to be from you, very genuine, very authentic, and you need to ask for those things. So I think it's wildly important. If you're starting with an email, add value right away with a quick hit of, what are you going to do with this? Asking a question in the subject line isn't terrible.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't mind it. I've gotten responses back. Does it work for everyone? No, not really.
Okay.
But I would adjust. I would wildly adjust, and I would wildly adjust very quickly if you're not getting responses back on your emails.
Yeah. Trial and error for sure.
Trial and error.
This
and
is-
just keep adjusting.
Yeah. If this isn't working, you know, we tried a different way. Maybe we don't ask a question in the subject line.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Right. You just keep trying.
Yeah.
And then document that.
Absolutely.
I think another thing too that was kind of on my mind was timing. If you're sending an email to your prospect the same time, the same day of every week, no responses, mix it up.
Yeah.
Mix it up the time, mix up the date, throw in a phone call, but just continue to mix it up.
Yeah. What's interesting is I've been listening to that Kara Brown Revenue Engine book, and she mentions in
Is that the one Lars?
this is the one from Lars.
Shout out
And
Lars.
He mentioned or she mentions, not every client is meant for you, and keep that in mind as you're following up with people. Not everyone is right for you, and you're not right for them, right? But it's a consistent number that'll get you eventually to that person, and don't take it personal. I also think it's wildly important that if your CRM says they opened it, I wouldn't take that into too much, but if you want to, your timing has to be right, okay? And I'll give you an example. If I send an email Tuesday, they opened it Wednesday. If you're not following up with a phone call, hey, I sent you an email Tuesday, and I wanted to chat through these 3 specific things. Would you have 10 minutes today, this week, next week to talk about these so that I can understand your industry and your position a little bit further?
Yeah, because you're a big fan of coming to the table with, with something that, gosh, how did you word this a couple of weeks ago? You got to have a clear mindset of what you're coming in for, right?
Yes.
So have those 3 things ready to go.
Yes.
So I love that you threw that in there.
I
That's
also
huge.
like doing that same thing in email format.
Mm-hmm.
I let people know what I want to talk about.
Right.
Because if you're just saying, hey, can we get together? Well, what do we really want to talk
Yeah.
about?
What are we doing?
Let's just be very clear of, here's what I want. Here's how I would like to see if there's an impact with you.
Right.
And sending an agenda, although there's a little bit of length to it, you can send something very quickly and say, hey, here's my agenda, and here would be at least 2 or 3 questions that we talk about.
Yeah.
Let me know if that works.
Yeah.
If they're interested, or if they've had some pain points, right, then you're gonna get that touch base.
Right. Yeah. I love that, Jared. Truly appreciate your insights on this. You sent millions, probably millions of emails in your
sent a lot.
lifetime, right? So
A lot.
I appreciate that. Does your CRM tell you what time they opened it?
Some do.
That's
It's hard to
interesting.
hear you all. I wonder what's going on. Can you hear us now? We're gonna work on that.
Yeah,
We're
we're
gonna get
working
new
on.
mics this
Yeah,
year.
we're gonna look at some new mics. Sorry, Tire Killer.
Yeah. Sometimes CRMs do
Yeah.
tell you. It depends on which CRM you're on, but some of them do. You may also have to pay for that in some particular cases. Depends
Right.
on your situation. So.
That's interesting. Though.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I do too. Because then you know when there's, I'm a big believer in sending emails like that nights and weekends guy. Send them during off times. Everybody, because of how much outsourcing is going on right now, everyone cares about America's time. Right?
Right.
They want to know what East Coast, West Coast. Send them in off hours. Send them during the weekend. Send them at night. You can schedule emails now. And be very, very creative with, hey, I know it's late. I was just thinking about these 3 things specific to supply chain and how it may affect you. Would you have 20 minutes this week where we could talk about these agenda items? And keep it short, but send them during off times. Don't be afraid to be creative.
Yeah.
Also, I think the other thing that's wildly important too is don't be afraid to go up or down in the email supply chain. So what I mean by that is if you're sending all your emails to logistics managers, maybe try the director or the VP, or try a little bit lower. If it's not working, tweak and tweak and tweak and keep trying to push. Don't just take that, I send them 6 emails, no responses. All right, well, send them up, send them down. Try the different approaches, and ask for them in the emails and those things like that. So I think it's really important that You know, once you get that marker dart in there, you know, then you can kind of go left or right of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I appreciate the dart. You guys, we're going to keep this show short today, so I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Hopefully you got some ideas for your emails going forward today. And if you guys need maybe some more tips or just want to network with us, hit us up. We love to talk, hear about more about you and your business.
Absolutely.
Let's grow together. So, Jared, give them a little insight on the guest we're having on Friday, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I'm super excited about it. We're talking LTL Friday, which is my old stomping ground. This cat is with Cross Country Freight. They're an expanding. They're growing quick. They're a part of a fairly large network throughout the United States. And I'm excited to just talk LTL. A lot of people come to us and ask us LTL questions. So get your LTL questions out. We're going to be talking about all kinds of random stuff, accessorials and challenges and a good shipment versus a bad shipment. And, you know, here's a weird one. Classifications. They classify LTL. So I'm super jacked to talk to this cat. He brings a lot of value. He's very entertaining. And you know, let's just have some fun, talk some LTL.
So it's all about